What's going on, Jerome's? So your Minnesota Vikings are putting in that work with their top 30 visits right now, just like every other team in the league. And so the Vikings reportedly wanted to wrap things up on April 7th and 8th. So some extra reports are trickling through as players are checking out TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill as well as US Bank Stadium. So far, reportedly, as of right now, 15 of the 30 visits have been reported to have been completed. Now, they can have visits up until April 17th, so they can bring it basically down to the wire. So they got about a week plus to get guys in if they want to take a look. And like we said, 30 visits are important, and it's not necessarily just interviewing all the top guys, and also a lot of the top players are very selective about where they visit, but getting the groundwork done on guys who are fringe day 3, guys who are priority UDFAs, and getting just scratching that lotto ticket a little bit, getting an interview and seeing what goes on with that kid, as well as do some medical checks. Top 30 visits is very important as well. So we already covered. So Dylan Johnson, Castle's a tight end, Eric All from Iowa, Don Jennings from USF, Christian Mahogany. Oh wait, no, he was a combine. Nailed it. Charles Turner III. We love us some undersized centers, don't we? Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan, row the boat, day 2 pick, as well as Christian Boyd, Taki Tiami from Oregon, so doing some work on nose tackles, which I love. Byron Murphy II. Also, I feel like Byron Murphy II just loved his visit to Minnesota. It wasn't so much about football and the Viking stuff. He just loved the great state of Minnesota. And he was here on Eclipse Day, so it was really poopy weather-wise. Quantez Stiggers from the CFL is a very intriguing name that could go late day 3, mid to late day 3, where he didn't play college football for he had family reasons, and just really unfortunate. But Quantez built his way up through the fan-controlled football league, which also had Johnny Manziel, and then went to the CFL Defensive Newcomer of the Year. It's a great story, man. But 5 new names have cropped up. So number 1 is Millard, a.k.a. Nook Bradford from TCU, seen as a fringe day 3 selection. A safety, 5'11", $190, 54 tackles, 2 interceptions, as well as 4 passes broken up his senior season out there in Fort Worth. Also, Gabe Murphy. Yeah, the other UCLA edge rusher. So, yes, teammates with Latu last 2 years. They formed a dynamic duo in Westwood. So Murphy's seen as a day 2 guy, late round 2, early round 3. And he was originally at North Texas, transferred to UCLA. A little bit undersized, 6'2", 247, but he can get after it as a stand-up outside linebacker. 61 pressures, 16 tackles for loss, and 8 sacks last year. Josh Cephas from UTSA. It's one of my favorite guys. So the Roadrunners, he's not a burner, but he does have some decent size at 6'2", $190. But he's not going to run away from you. Doesn't have that breakaway speed. Isn't like overly physical, but he just is very good at getting open underneath, and also sure hands. Only had 1 drop in 2023. 89 catches, 1,151 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns as a senior. So he can certainly get after it. 2 more. So Vikings on the board with another running back, Blake Watson from Memphis. So undersized at 5'9", $195, was originally at Old Dominion before transferring to the Tigers. 1,152 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns, 6.2 yards per carry, as well as 53 catches, 480 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns last year. So, Watson is super productive. And, could you say that he's kind of like a souped-up Deuce Vaughn? Sure, possibly. But in terms of a late day 3 or priority UDFA guy to bring in, that could be a nice little spark for the running game, as well as a very competent receiver, as well as pass blocker, would be an interesting name. Lastly, Josh Proctor, the safety from Ohio State. So he was on the Van Wilder plan. Definitely an older prospect coming in. 6 years in Columbus, but he's 6'1", $199. Best season was his final year at Ohio State. 47 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, a pick 6, as well as 8 passes broken up. And he does have nice quickness. He does have some good speed, and I think that 7th round pick UDFA going to be in that mix. I think age is going to be held against him certainly, but also I think that he's a guy that that could be working his way up from the practice squad, maybe make some special teams and go from there. And also, what's interesting is that, so I was like, hey, what about the 30 visits from last year? So this is from our guy Will Raggets over at Sports Illustrated, top 30 visits from 2023. So run through the list: Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, that one kind of worked out, Keon White, Brian Branch, who went to Detroit, Forbes, who went early to Washington, then Tanner McKee, maybe not so much, Mohamed Diabate, Bradford sort of fell. Is what it is. Carl Brooks, who went to the stupid Packers, and I'm really upset about that. Mekhi Blackman, that one worked out. Dwayne McBride ended up being a 7th-round pick by the Vikings, so they did pick up 3 guys. Marte Mapu, I wanted him so bad, just for the names and the jokes. Trey Palmer, no, blah, blah, blah. Pelissero, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they brought in Pelissero for a top 30 visit. That's awesome. John Michael Schmitz, fantabulous center for the Gophers for many years, went to the Giants. Howden, Terrell Smith is doing some good things. Evan Hall was in that mix. Nash Jensen, yeah. But so it's interesting to see. So some years, I mean, the teams strike out on their 30 visits. They don't draft or they don't get a UDFA out of any of them. But also sometimes it's intel. It's like, hey, what is teammate XYZ like? But the Vikings did draft 3 last year with Dwayne McBride, Mekhi Blackman, as well as Jordan Addison. Perhaps you heard of him. So it's kind of fun. But your thoughts are thoughts. Take a look at the Vikings 30 visits thus far as of right now. I'll let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.